kicks in and you go into the sectionals, the way I understand it, they're going to be still could be competing in sectionals in AAA is athletes and speed. I mean, what are you going to do to find that? I mean, it's here, but I mean, you know.
That's where I got to get in the halls, use my recruiting skills, and get these kids to come out and play some football. Understand it's fun out there and let them experience it.
Do you got any idea about your career win-loss record?
To be honest, like,
You got any stats on that?
I think I'm about 600%, 600 winning percentage. I want to say it's 35, 33, or something like that.
It's what?
I want to say I'm 35, 32. I took a job. The Whittier Christian job was probably not the best job in my life to take, but at the time my dad had cancer. It was a good job to take care of my dad.
Right.
So that was it. And so.
Who's your coaching influences in Virginia?
In Virginia? Let's see. Cecil Phillips has taught me a lot. He works pretty hard at the game. He's the head coach at Amherst.
Okay.
You know, you gotta pay attention to Tibbs up at Lee. You gotta pay attention to Eric Baylor, who's now the principal at East Rockingham. Right. You know, he played at JMU, was the head coach at Spotswood.
Tibbs?
Dave Tibbs is the head coach up at RE Lee right now.
He's still there?
Yeah, he's still there. I was his DC for 4 years, and that was probably what got me, you know, getting people to know me again back in Virginia was with Tibbs. We had good little runs there for 4 years, league champions.
What are you going to do to help these kids get and take it to the next level and find the right fit for these kids to go to college? Probably one of my
pluses is my network with the colleges. You know, I actually run a business called Michael Roark Recruiting, and I've got contacts for all the Virginia and West Virginia colleges at all levels. You know, one, we got to get the grades. We got to get these kids to understand grades starting as a 9th grader, not as your senior year.
Right.
And we're going to implement a study hall. We're going to run study halls Monday, Thursday.
I mean, mandatory study hall.
And if you don't have a 2.5, you'll be in study hall. And we're going to put together a study hall team, academic coaches, and the whole purpose is to keep these kids eligible and get them to understand how to study, how to take tests, what the right things to do in the classroom.
How are you going to mandate that?
You show up. If you don't have a 2.5, you're not going to be punished for playing. You can still come play football,
right,
but you're going to still come and tutoring on Mondays and Thursdays. If you got classes where you need work, the teachers can now say, hey, this kid needs work in math. We're going to go out and reach out to the colleges and ask for some tutors and some teachers and say, help us out. You know, they're students first.
Right, no question about it. What about strengthening and conditioning all season? That seems to be an area of some concern.
That's going to be dealt with today.
What do you mean?
Well, they're going to understand the importance of it. You know, we've already talked some about the weight rooms and the condition of the weight rooms. We need to do a little refurbishing. That's part of football. If you want to be successful, you lift now for next year. You can't show up in August and play.
Let me check that tape real quick.
You know, when you're talking about the conditioning aspect, I mean, you're talking about jumping in there like right away, like getting with coaches and getting a program down this week or beginning of next week.
Yes, have to. We're already, going into the middle of March, so we're already 3 months behind. I'm meeting with the coaches today to see, I want to see when they're lifting right now, then evaluate what we're doing in the weight room, see which coaches are in there and what what their take is on everything. And then we got to start getting out in the hallways and get the kids who plan on playing. If they're not in the sport, they need to come lift and make it happen.
What's your position about, it seems to be one of the issues that seems to crop up around here, these coaches, without getting into the specifics, who discourage their kids from playing all the sports, seem to want constant, seems to be a strain over here of specialization. A lot of the best athletes only want to play baseball, per se. What's your whole position about that?
Play them all. They're kids. We'll find time for them to lift. I played football, played basketball, wasn't very good at it, but I played basketball and played baseball, and I had a blast. Then on weekends you're out in the parking lots playing basketball or playing touch football. Sooner or later you got to go to college and go to work. You might as well have fun while you're a kid. Play
so
everything.
No problem. You're better athletes playing baseball.
No, just all I ask is we figure out a time for you to come lift weights.
Mm-hmm.
If I got to meet you in the morning, we'll meet you in the morning. You come in, and we'll adjust the workouts. We're not going to make the kid come in here and bench 500 pounds on game day.
Right.
But we're going to still make them lift during the seasons.
And you're serious about the academic progress about these kids?
Yes, you have to be.
Yeah, oh, I agree.
With SOLs right now, we're student athletes. The bottom line, student has to be part of the deal. And I mean, when I speak at clinics and stuff, when I talk at camps, I finish things. I say, one, I tell them, every night you need to kiss your mom and dad. Good night, I love you. Two, understand what life's all about. It's pretty simple. You got God, you got your family, you got your education, then your passion. Well, my passion's football, and I'm lucky. I already nailed the education part. But now these kids, they got to work on number 3. You put those things in that order, life's pretty simple.
All right. Well, I think we've. You got anything else, Joe B?
No, I think I'm pretty good. You made a reference to a summer camp. What that was going on in Lynchburg that you're going to move to here?
I run the NFL has what's called high school player development camps, and I run 3 of them in Virginia. One was up in the Valley, one's in Southwest Virginia, then one was in Central Virginia. Originally, we're going to do it up at Amherst, and with the hiring here, I'm going to move it down here. Be us, William Campbell, Heritage will come down. I'll call up Joe over at Randolph Henry, invite Joe over to it. And what happens is the NFL provides practice jerseys for the kids. They give out some actual academic stuff. They get planners for the year. We try to get in a couple of ex-NFL kids, and it's 5 days just football. You go over all aspects of the game, but you bring in kids from different schools so they can interact. It's a laid back time. They're no longer your enemies in June, so you can sit back with your buddy you got to hit, in October, sit back and have fun. It's a great chance for the kids to meet each other, but we'll get in 5 days, and it's helmets and shoulder pads, so we get to get in a little football.
And when is that going to be scheduled for here?
The 18th is what I asked Mr. Lauter about yesterday.
June the 18th?
That's
Yeah.
what we're talking about. But
How long is the camp?
Monday through Friday, you go 5 to 7:30.
All right. What's the new deal on spring practice exactly?
Well, a lot of people have a hard time understanding that they passed a rule last year, you can practice out of season, except for a dead period, which is the first 10 days of the start of each sport. Is that correct?
yeah,
Yeah,
So-
first 2 weeks. Yeah.
First two, okay.
First 2 weeks.
Yeah,
So,
same things.
but in other states, this isn't a big deal. You don't
Right.
go year round. You don't need to do that. But okay, we wait till spring sports are over. All right, so now there's 3 weeks of school there, and that's before exams start, where there's nothing except playoffs. So any of the kids who aren't involved in baseball or soccer or track who are still playing, we'll just come out and we'll do football. We'll have spring practice, t-shirts and shorts.
You're gonna do that this year?
Yes.
but we're not talking about putting on full pads.
No, it's just
I
t-shirt.
understand.
Yeah,
It's just t-shirts.
That's all we did in California. You had 14 days at the end of the regular season. You got to get in practice. And then you got stuff ready for your 707s, and you get to see kids. The biggest thing I got to jump on once I meet the kids is to see where grades are, and let's work on academics now to knock off a lot of problems come summertime.
I got one other question for you, two things specific. One of the other issues around here is it seems to be an issue that middle school football, varsity football aren't necessarily on the same page all the time. There seems to be a bit of continuing controversy about that. What's your whole take on that?
I'm gonna reach out to the middle school coaches and talk to them. I think we need to, like I said, I think youth, middle school, high school, all need to be somewhere on the same page. And so I need to hear their philosophies on things, and just sit down and let's talk it out. But I want them to be part of my program.
And I also would mention that we have met and discussed that as far as the football program from Little League all the way on through. Our goal is to get all the teams on moving in the same direction and being able to best place players from Little League to high school where best they can fit. And we're looking at doing some revamping at the middle school.
Right. Okay, interesting.
That is interesting, because there have been discussions about that in the past, and it never took hold. And I mean, is this going to be a much
Yes.
bigger effort in that
Without
regard.
question, I think we're gonna put some, we are definitely gonna put some effort into trying to move it forward in our, as once we selected a head football coach, we was looking to move in that direction.
One thing that kind of seems to be interesting is they seem to be cutting players at the middle school. I was just kind of, seems to me that's kind of just kind of silly. I mean, is it?
I'll let him
still
share
going on?
his-
Can I turn that off first?
Yeah, sure. I mean,
I agree with you. I think it's something that we need to address. But the problem is, I got to figure out a way to find money so they can't cut kids and a way for them to play.
right.
You know,
Because,
like,
I mean,
I talked to Brad last night at Heritage. One of the things we're going to do with 9th grade games is play a 5th quarter. You know, and that's the kind of
more kids play.
exactly, and that's what I got to reach out to those guys and hear their, you know, I haven't met with them yet, so that's why I don't want to say anything about it.
Right.
But that's one. Those are
That's
some.
just a specific issue.
It has to be part for this program to be successful. You can't go, okay, I get the youth coaches on board,
Right.
and then there's a 3-year lapse, and now they're back in the high school.
Right.
That doesn't work. So I've got to get everybody on board.
I just thought that was a.
Because, you know, they would get 80, 85 kids out there and they would have 55, let's just say 55
Exactly.
uniforms and didn't have the staffing to be able to devote to teaching that that number. So
And that's what we got
They
to
were
work.
jealous.
That's what we got to work on. My philosophy's always been your lower level coaches, your freshman coaches, your JV coaches, your middle school coaches. It's not the win-loss record. If you got 40 kids playing football in the 8th grade, you want those 40 kids playing football in the 9th grade. You want those 40 kids playing football in the 10th grade. Then it gets a little more, you know, complicated. But that's their job. Teach them the basics and keep them in the program.
So you say you are going to have like you're looking at having 5th quarter from 9th grade to the idea being that more kids get to play.
Exactly.
And more kids.
Why do I want a 9th grader to come run his butt off through August and September and then sit the bench all year long?
I agree with that.
He's not going to come out next year.
Exactly.
But if I say, look, here's another, you know, and I was asking Mr. Walter yesterday, some of the things we'd like to see is maybe have a youth team at halftime.
Yeah.
Just, you know, build the whole thing together. It's you know, you go to Texas, you go to South Carolina, these programs start when they're 8 years old. And it's just a machine. Boom, boom, boom. Each year it's a machine. And that's what we've got to do. We've got to set the expectations in the classroom and on the field and go from there.
All right. Sounds good to me. All right, big dog. You all right, JB? You got it all?
I'm very good. One thing I want to, last year at Amherst, what position did you serve in it?
I was just up in the box on Friday nights. I've been out of teaching for a little while, and my company got bought out. So it was a last-minute thing to go with Amherst. Cecil's a buddy of mine. I just went up to the box with the headsets, tapped them out on both sides of the ball.
Okay. So basically you just assisted the coach and
Yeah.
staff at Amherst.
Exactly. I was the old fart. That's a bunch of young kids down there.
No problem.
And before that you were at Robert E. Lee?
Right, and I was a defensive coordinator.
Defensive coordinator, all right. When were you at Lee?
Last year's 11, so 10 through 6, 2007 through 2010, 4 years.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right, big dog.